are you? How are you?
Very good, thank you. And yourself?
I'm pretty good, yeah, I'm good. I've talked to a lot of creators throughout all this that have just been like, I'm fine, which is pretty much what I've been putting out there. I'm fine. We're getting through. But I thought it'd be fun to chat about. So the first sort of thing is how we met. And I don't know where you think we met, but I'm going to tell you where I think we met. And then you can sort of say if you remember that at all, because as far as I'm concerned, you were very young, okay? So the first recollection I have of you is it was at St Mary's at the centre there where they used to do River Valley Radio.
Yeah.
And my dad was there and your dad was there. And that's like sort of our main link is our dads, I would say. And then there was an open day on, and I think you guys were some of the only kids there, you and your brothers and sisters, were like the only other kids there. So I was sort of spending a lot of time with you guys, because I think I was about 12 or 10, between 10 and 12 at the time. And at this open day, there was a big bouncy castle. And all I remember is all of us going on the bouncy castle. And then the fun part of this bouncy castle was letting the bouncy castle go down. And all just
yeah. I remember that. I remember I had a bag of sweets in my pocket actually, and I dropped them everywhere. I was just scrambling around this bouncy castle whilst it was deflating, trying to find this Haribo.
Oh man, I think it's brilliant the things that we remember about these situations. But yeah, I think that is my first recollection of knowing you, or like being aware of your existence. And obviously there's been quite a big gap since then. And I mean, is that the same for you? Is that like your recollection of us?
So. I was going to say youth theatre. Your mum used to run the youth theatre, didn't she?
Yes, yeah.
It was either one or, but looking back, I think that was the first time, and then seen you a few years later at the youth theatre.
Yeah, and obviously, I think this is it. I think we've met quite randomly throughout the last sort of 10 years in various different places because of what our parents do, and because of, we live in quite a small town as well, and it's just one of those that you kind of can't avoid each other when it comes to a lot of people like that. So yeah, I think it's interesting, like how we've sort of come to be, aware of each other and knowing each other. And I think when you're a creative, especially in a small area like this, you just sort of become aware of each other anyway. Like I've been seeing what you've been getting up to, and whether it's I'm seeing it or my dad's telling me about it, and he's like, "Oh, have you seen what Saul's done this week?" And it's great. And I'm like, "Yeah, I've seen it. It's pretty cool." So yeah, I'm glad you got in touch, and I'm glad we're having this chat, because it's...
No, thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's good to chat to you. So yeah, I mean, like I said, it's been about 10 years since we probably first met, and I'm not going to ask you to tell me like day by day what you've done in those 10 years. But I think it'd be interesting to know sort of how you came to where you are at the moment. So whether that's been in the last year that you've sort of changed up what you're doing, or I know a few years ago you picked up a guitar and you that was the first thing I've been sort of aware of you doing music and stuff, which I know you do a lot of now. So yeah, what would you say has been like the landmark moments in the last few years for you?
Well, it's a good question. So aside from being your average Jack the lad, I took over you. I was going to say prodigy with the youth parliament for a couple of years.
That's true.
After you stepped down, so which is just basically the youth member of parliament. Maybe you'll be able to explain it in more detail.
Yeah. So being youth MP, it's a lot of fun, isn't it? It's an interesting one.
Definitely a lot of fun.
It gives you a lot of opportunities. You meet a lot of interesting people. I think half of my friends list is random people from around the country who are also youth MPs for a time.
Do you still speak to any of them?
I don't speak to a few of them. I keep up to date with them, and I think they probably do the same. We like each other's stuff now and then, and I follow what they're doing. I think again that's another interesting route of people that have done such random things from that point. Is I think probably for people like us, it wasn't massively about the politics. It was more about the opportunities for young people and the whole like public speaking stuff I love, and it's all about me being confident and, you know, getting out there and representing people. Whereas for a lot of people, it was genuinely about being political, or
Yeah,
it's like I've got friends who have gone on to be, through that, have gone on to be lawyers, or have gone on to be actual members of parliament, or actual
yeah,
MPs for their area. So there's such a big difference in what people have done with that, and I think it's great. And obviously, I mean, I keep up with politics, but I'm not a politics person. I try not to talk about it too much.
yeah. Like you can go for hours, can't you?
Oh
You
yeah,
can go for hours.
absolutely. Um, and I like to surround myself with people who agree, or who are of a similar mindset when it comes to politics, so that I don't have to joust my way through conversations with people. Um, so yeah, Youth MP, Youth Parliament. It was a big fun opportunity, really, and it was, you know, tied with youth work and tied with youth clubs and stuff. So yeah, you took over from that.
Yeah, I think that's where I found a lot of my confidence, because obviously taking over from you, I had big shoes to fill in a sense, because you're very good at it.
Thanks.
So yeah, I wasn't very passionate about like public speaking and stuff. I wasn't very
Mm,
confident towards it or anything. But by the end of the 2 years, you could put me in a room with 1,000 people and I could just natter on about anything.
yeah.
So that was definitely a landmark for me, I think,
Yeah.
finding confidence through that.
Yeah.
And then just also you do all sorts with it.
Yeah.
I'm getting a bit lost for words now. I've slept since then. But yeah, I definitely found my confidence through that,
Yeah.
I'd say.
I think that's a big one for a lot of people, isn't it? Confidence, within that, because you're given so many opportunities to be confident when you're doing that. So obviously, as the youth MP, you're sort of the leader of the group. You're given the opportunity to go down to Parliament and to debate in the House of Commons, which is sort of just mind blowing for a lot of people.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely.
and so yeah, I think, you know, that could probably be said for quite a lot of young people, is that's such a good opportunity to get you confident, to get you talking to people, to get you worried about issues as well. For young people, it's like, I know you've done a lot with mental health as well at the moment, and that's such a
Yes,
big thing for youth parliament as well, is because you go and you debate like 5 topics every year, don't you?
that's right.
And for years, even, you know, since I was doing it, I think before that, mental health was one of the biggest topics for us, that we wanted to work on as young people, because it is such a big issue with young people, and it still hasn't completely got rid of that stigma that it has, being, you know, when you talk about it.
No, definitely not. I actually earlier this year I worked with a couple of friends on a project
Hmm.
to do with lowering the stigma and stuff, particularly with men's mental health.
Hmm.
That was the end game. It was after the first lockdown had been restricting everything, you could go to the pub again. We started having a pint, and I was talking with a fellow called Oliver Crichton about
Hmm.
stuff we could do. And then from that came an idea to design like a poster, just to put up in around the pubs,
Yeah.
just encouraging men to talk about mental health and stuff. And I put that on Facebook. Another lad, Chris Archer, commented, "Oh, get it on beer mats and stuff." So we did.
Mm.
So this is one of them actually.
Brilliant.
And so yeah, we rolled them out across Clitheroe and stuff just before the pub shut for the last time.
Yeah.
And next year we're hoping to get them out across Lancashire, but we're going to
Nice.
need to find some funding for that from
Yeah. Yeah.
somewhere.
Hint, hint, anyone watching,
Yeah,
if you want to fund an
sort of
amazing project like that. um, Absolutely. I mean, it's an amazing thing to be doing, especially with what's going on at the moment, with everyone being locked down and stuff. And obviously, it's unfortunate that we can't be in the pubs and stuff and doing all
yeah,
these amazing, you know, these social things to sort of push that. Um, but it's so good to see that you're working on something like that, because it is, you know, like I said, it's such a stigmatized thing, which is so ridiculous,
definitely
because
stigmatized.
so many people, you know, have undiagnosed mental health illnesses and diagnosed mental health illnesses. I mean, I've massively struggled over lockdown with my mental health, and it's something, you know, I don't go preaching about, but it's something I
No,
want people to be aware of, in that, you know, I consider myself quite a positive person. I try to be quite positive, you know, I try to encourage people as much as I can, but I have, massively struggled over the last few months to keep that positivity going when there's not much to be positive about.
It's I think you're in the same boat as me, as we're both very, very sociable people,
Yeah.
and we love interaction with people.
Mm.
And in a way, we sort of feed off it and crave off it. And then what happens when all of a sudden you just get locked in your house and that
Yeah.
social aspect is just not swept from under your feet? I bet a lot of people, well, I don't even bet, I know a lot of people will struggle with that.
Mm.
And it's finding ways now where we can work on something. That's why I'm appreciating what you're doing at the minute with all the comedy sketches and stuff. It's giving people a bit of like a morale boost,
Yeah.
and it's good quality content.
Thank you. I think this is it. Like I was saying before, I'm trying to trying to ride this wave of getting stuff done, productivity, which I haven't had very much of recently. And I think it'll be the same for a lot of people. We haven't had that productivity that we had before because there's so little you can do at this time. And if you're not someone who can have access to, Zoom and everything and, get online as easily, then there really is not much you could be doing at the moment. I'm very lucky that I have a laptop and I have the ability to record stuff and I have the ability to, edit and get it up there and do that sort of thing. But if you don't, like you said, there's really nothing you can do at the minute. And it's, so to be able to put stuff out there and, have it appreciated is really, I'm very appreciative of that I get to do that.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
That's sort of where the music was born, because before I've always liked making music and stuff, but I never really released anything until the first lockdown. I thought if it could, because I've been making the first EP for maybe a year or so before, just playing around and stuff.
Yeah.
And then I thought, right, I'll put it out now. And it went really well, so I made another that went really well. Just people were enjoying it. You know, it was giving them something to do, something to look forward to during lockdown, which was nice. It was nice to get the feedback on it and stuff and progress. And then it gave me the ability to actually make more music, just take a step back from being busy and just making music, finding new artists on the internet. Sorry, I'll turn my phone on silent. My apologies there.
It's okay.
I'm in group chat. So yeah, it was good to take a step back and sort of start creating stuff.
Yeah.
And obviously I made an album during the lockdown, which has always been a big dream of mine. And it was very good because obviously I'd made it in the lockdown and everything, the restrictions eased and everything. I sold the album and they sold out first day.
Amazing.
And every penny of that is going towards putting someone on the streets and housing.
Amazing.
Absolutely brilliant and something I'm very proud of.
Yeah, you should be. It was amazing to see as well because, every time something went up, I'd see it. And then, like I said, my dad would come in and be like, have you seen this? It's sold out. I've got my copy. I'm going to get, I've ordered it. And it was really cool to see what was happening with that because I could tell it was something you were really enjoying doing. And even though I was only watching it, through Facebook posts and stuff, I could see that it was something that was, going really well for you. And it was really good to see. So what you're doing is great because there is, like with mental health and stuff, there is so much more education people need on this subject. And there's so many things, so many people still believe that you could just tell someone to smile and they'll feel better. And I'm like, no, often it takes medication and, therapy and seeking the right help that you need. So what you're doing with removing that stigma is so good, especially in an area like ours, because unfortunately it is a higher stigma in this area for things like that. So it's great to see that you're doing that. So in terms of the music that you're producing, and obviously you can clearly see where some of the influences come from in terms of the name and, where you did the photo shoot and everything. But for you, what was the influence behind creating that specific album?
So I'd started it. I'd been living away actually. This was 2018. I'd been living in Dorset working a seasonal job. And it was a really rainy, horrible day. So me and my friend who were living there, we were in our little static caravan. It was very miserable and I was really home, absolutely missing home. And I wrote a song that day and then I brought it back and worked on it with an artist called Molly Knock, who's brilliant. And that's sort of where it was born. We went to Blackburn College Music Studio.
Nice.
With our producer, the two producers. And we worked on the track and everything. And when it was done, I was blown away because it's the first time I'd ever really like heard one of my own produced up songs. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And everything. And then obviously I got a job in the shop down Henthorn Road and everything. So it was pretty much 90% of my life was on Henthorn Road.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's about the people, the place, the vibe. Because I don't know, it very much felt like a homecoming record in a sense.
Yeah.
And it was brilliant to make, and it was inspired by the people, and it was for the people.
Yeah.
That's why I never released it online. I wanted it to be limited copies for the people who've been there whilst I've been making it.
I like that. It's good. It's so nice to see such that so much influence can be drawn from the area that you grew up in, and you know the people that you know, and like you said, oh, hello.
Hello. May do it.
Hey, Maisie.
Hello. You all right?
Yeah, I will do. Gate crashed. Asking
Brilliant.
for fruit baskets.
Honestly, I'm not shocked. I'm surprised that my dog hasn't come in yet, or my dad for that matter. I was doing one last week. I was doing an interview last week where I was recording something, and my dad was downstairs, and he just started belting out songs whilst he was doing the washing up. I was like, Dad. I went down afterwards, like, I was doing something. I told you I was recording for the next hour, and you decided to go and belt out a few anthems for me during that.
I think it had been very hard making an album here in this house. It's an absolute madhouse. So it's all about finding the right time.
Yeah.
At some points, I'd just go and record outside. I'd go for a walk and record just because of how crazy. I'm surprised that's been the only interruption so far.
Honestly, this is it. And like, I was sat here before, and as we started, a train went past, and I don't know if you know where my house is, but
yeah, it's right under the viaduct,
right under the trains. And I was like, of course, I picked the perfect time. I need to be more aware of the train timetables to know when they're going to be going past. I did it on another Zoom call, and my friend Beth is from the Wirral, so obviously quite far from here, and I met her at uni, so she's not seen my house. And I was like, oh, sorry, there's a train going past because we were recording something. She went, what? And I was like, yeah, look. And I like showed her out of my window, and she was like, how do you feel safe so close to that train? I was like, well, I just don't really think about it. I try not to.
That bridge is as old as time. It's not going to give way.
Yeah, hopefully. It makes you a little bit nervous that it's covered in stuff that sort of tracks how much it moves.
Yeah.
But we don't think about it. We just don't think about it, Saul. So yeah, let's get back to it. We'll talking about your album and stuff. So I love that it was influenced by people in your area. Like it's clearly something so special to you as well. And the fact that you've been able to, release it, give it to the people, and provide, somewhere for someone to live is just sort of amazing. So my question for you is, what's the plan now? Is there anything going to be any more from you?
I think we'll have to wait and see.
Oh.
At the moment, I'm on a bit of a hiatus from music and social media as best I can at the minute because I'm working on a few other projects. We're writing a film.
Oh, okay.
Writing a film.
Nice.
Well, that's still very early days, so that might not even come into fruition. But we've wrote the first screenplay. But like you said earlier about a sitcom.
Yeah.
Where you just binned it off and wanted to start again. I think we're at that point because it's based around mental health, so we want to get the research 100%. We want to make sure we're doing everything in the right way. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Addressing matters in the right way because it's a sensitive subject. We don't want to go into it half-heartedly.
Yeah,
so
absolutely. I think this is it. I think, like I said, as creatives, we often have millions of ideas, and it's getting one onto the paper and then being like, oh, this could be so much better, and I'm going to rewrite it again. And then you end up doing like 10 drafts of something, and then you've just got to hope that it comes to fruition, because as much as you love your first baby that you make, it's probably not going to be the one that actually hits off. You've got to keep going. But yeah, I think it's really exciting to hear what you've been doing, and I think it's so cool to see that from knowing you as that little kid that I met 10 years ago, if not longer ago, to now, and how much we've sort of, you know, intertwined on our paths, and how much, you know, you've done and I've done, you know, as creatives and stuff. It's so interesting to see, and so good to see, you know, everything that's happened. It's been cracking talking to you anyway and catching up on everything. And I'm so excited to see what's coming next. It would be great to work with you at some point on something.
I'd absolutely love to. I was going to say this actually. I'd absolutely love to make a cameo in one of your sketches, because I do
Yes,
find it really brilliant. I
absolutely.
love that.
We need to do that. We need to work together on something, especially being from the same area. I would love to draw influence from the area. There are so many characters around here that we could do.
I think we're both one of them. We're both characters.
Absolutely. So it'd be cracking to do that. And it's been lovely chatting to you. And yeah, see you soon.